What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to a slightly crazy late night news roundup here on Anfield Agenda. Well, what do I mean by crazy? We're going to be talking about the WWE a little bit, Vinicius Jr, Spurs and Rodrigo, Isak, Harvey Elliott's future, a little bit from Florian Wirtz about why he chose Liverpool and what it feels like to hear you'll never walk alone, and a couple of other interesting bits and pieces that we hope will keep you right up to date. Tomorrow we will be live for the watch along from 6:45. Don't forget we'll have a news video out as well. And if you would like to include your player ratings in our player ratings video to have them averaged out by Connor, make sure you sign up to the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp by scanning that QR code on the screen. Connor puts the link in to submit your player ratings into the WhatsApp group. Before we get into the news, let's have a look at the updated net spendometer. As you can see, Liverpool currently sitting with a £93.4 million net spend with 8 days left. £321 million worth of new players in and £227.6 million worth of sales. Obviously, if Harvey Elliott goes, that net spend figure will come down more, and if Isak, Gay or anybody else comes in, it'll rise. Right, so let's start off with Rodrigo. Couple of things tonight. Firstly, Defensa Central have said two things. That Real Madrid would be willing to sell Rodrigo for €110 million, or about £95 million this summer. And Saudi Pro League are also keeping an eye on the situation. But the second part of this was that Spurs are close to agreeing a loan deal for Rodrigo, again according to Defensa Central, with them covering all of his wages. He apparently got substituted for Madrid tonight and wasn't happy when he went off. So let me know what you think happens there with the Rodrigo situation. It certainly doesn't look like Liverpool are going to make a move based off what the likes of Ian Doyle and others are saying. So I'm anxious to see how these last 8 days goes. Like many people said to me tonight though, I have to believe that there is a method to the madness of selling all the players, and I'm keeping my fingers, toes and everything else crossed that we get the signings we need. Caught offside. They have said, well, one thing that is understandable and one thing that if true will absolutely drive me insane. It is AC Milan, Atalanta, Inter, Napoli, Roma and Fulham are all interested in CHIESA. That I can understand. Interested is fine as long as he doesn't go anywhere. But they go on to say Liverpool have also offered CHIESA to Newcastle as part of any deal for Isak. That simply cannot happen unless we bring in two players. So if we lost CHIESA now, that would be stupid if we brought in Isak. Unless Fofana or Rodrigo or somebody else was brought in as well. We cannot go into the season with just 4 senior forwards and a young kid. So if we were to bring in Isak, we cannot let CHIESA go unless there is another player. And I also don't know how much truth I think there is in that story. Would Liverpool really offer him? Elliott, I could see us maybe offer him, but let me know your thoughts on that one. Florian Wirtz was asked, how did Arne Slot convince him to join Liverpool? He said, as soon as I found out he looked like the guy from Anfield... Okay, no, he didn't. But he did say, the discussions with Arne were very, very good from the very beginning. He won me over from the very first meeting. He gave me clear ideas and a clear vision of how he wanted me to play in his team. Speaking about the Liverpool fans singing You'll Never Walk Alone, Flo said this, I felt it in my entire body that it was something special when you were standing in the middle of the stadium and the whole stadium was singing the song. It gave you a little bit of extra energy before the game. Right, so WWE time, are you ready? This isn't something I thought I'd be talking about tonight, but even they're getting in on the act. So JD McDonough revealing he's wearing a Liverpool jersey with Isak 9 on the back is elite trolling. That is the WWE up in Newcastle, apparently, and he's there wearing an Isak 9 Liverpool shirt. I hope he knows something we don't know, but either way, it's absolutely top-level trolling. I'm here for it, sir. I'm here for it. Right, Real Madrid are apparently ready to sell Vinicius Jr for €150 million, which is about £120 million next summer, if he doesn't agree a new contract. Again, from Defensa Central. So the reason I bring this up is, would you take Vinny Jr at the club? Let me know in the comment section. For me, the answer would be no. Not because I don't think he's a good enough footballer. He's a wonderfully talented footballer. But I don't like the antics. The Bruno Fernandes-esque moaning at referees and whatnot. Now, I know he's come in for some absolutely disgusting racial abuse. And no player should go through that. So I'm not giving out about him moaning about that. He's absolutely right to be appalled by that. But for me... no, not for me. I wouldn't take him at Liverpool, but not because he's not good enough. He definitely is. Let me know what you guys think. And also, Do you think there's a world where maybe it might happen? I don't, for what it's worth. Right, Paul Joyce has said, Liverpool have a week to seal Alexander Isak's arrival before the transfer window closes, or they could decide to switch to another target. Now, this is good news, because a lot of the time over the last day or two, there was talk of no plan B. At least if we can't get Isak and there's another target, it gives us a little bit of hope. He goes on to say, however, it is clear that the strategy of the club's power brokers, Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards, would not be to buy somebody simply to boost numbers. Well, we have to. We have to boost numbers. They've had all summer to map out the window, and we've sold players to free up spaces. We've got to fill those spaces. Now, I do agree we shouldn't be going down the list to number 6 and 7, but we would have known for a while that Isak wasn't a guarantee. So there has to be other options if it isn't Isak. Who they are, your guess is as good as mine at this point. The situation that's concerning me on top of that is Canade. We should know, after 1 year of Richard Hughes being at the club, whether Canade is going to extend or not. We've gone through the whole summer with it. We've heard that Liverpool have gone back with another offer, but yet we still haven't got an agreement on the contract. So for me, if we won't agree, if we can't get to a number that works for both parties, that happens. But we need to be selfish and we need to go out there and get Mark A to look after our own interests, because we need to have the depth. And whatever Canade wants to do, it is his career and he is free to do it. But we need to look after our own first interests, our best interests. And that is best served if Canade won't sign a new deal or can't agree a new deal by going out and getting Mark A. You could make the argument that either way, we should be going to get Mark A. And again, I wouldn't push back against that whatsoever. But here we are, 8 days left in the window. We still have time to get it done, and lots of people tonight leaning both ways on it. I asked the question, if Liverpool made no more signings between now and the end of the window, would this window be a failure? And it was 60% of over 3,000 votes said yes, the window would be a failure if we didn't bring in anybody else. 40% said no. Now, I'm baffled as to how the 40% could say no. You might say failure is a strong word, but it isn't. We have left ourselves short if we don't bring in another player or two. And nobody's trying to say the business we've done in the window isn't brilliant. All the signings we've made, I don't think many of us have any complaints about. But the overall view was that Arne wanted 6 forwards. Not my words, his words as reported by the media. We kept CHIESA around last year because Arne felt we had to have 6 forwards. Why all of a sudden now would 4 senior forwards and a kid be okay? It's just not enough numerically to go across the whole season. So it isn't greed. It isn't arguing for the sake of it. It is being balanced and fair to say the squad depth just wouldn't be there. That's my take on it. But I do hope and believe that there is method to this madness and we will have it all resolved by September the 1st. It's a big leap of faith, but I think they've done enough to earn that leap of faith from me so far in this window. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking. Hope to see you tomorrow for what is a massive game at St. James's Park. Hope you had a lovely weekend. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.